Welcome to Real People, Real Voices. I'm your host, James Jackson.
I'm your co-host, Pastor Wayne Moore.
Always a pleasure to host with you.
It is a pleasure to host with you. It's always a pleasure to be in your presence, and want you to know I'm praying for you in the loss of your dad. And if there's anything Real People, Real Voices can do for you, we're going to be right there for you.
Keep us in your prayers, and thank you for the condolences and for all the information that you share with me since we've been going through this process. Certainly are grateful to be here and with all of our viewing audience.
Yeah, I'm happy to be here with you. Yeah,
we got some great sponsors.
Yeah, we got some great sponsors. Lee Cosell and Crawley. We also have the Fervent Care Christian Academy. We also have Al's Modern Clothing and Shoes, and the Marion County Public Health Department are with us on Real People, Real Voices, and we're very happy to have all of our sponsors.
We also want folks to know that you can go to YouTube and you can Google WHMB TV 40, and you can watch this show when it's over, as well as other shows that you might have missed. And check us out.
You can like us on
Facebook.
Yeah, like us on Facebook. I like it, Jack, when you give me an opportunity to say that, because I love being liked on Facebook.
And speaking of Facebook, we've got a really great guest on today. Sheriff Kerry Forstall, Marion County Sheriff's going to be with us with some great information.
Yeah, and he's going to give us some information about the new CJC Center, which is the Criminal Justice Center that's being erected out on the Prospect, south side of Indianapolis, which is the part of the downtown area now. And so he's going to hear what he has to say as it relates to the community understanding some processes that are going to take place with that new system that he's going to be working with.
Certainly our public safety servants are really busy right now, but we're going to talk more about it when we come back. Stay with us. We'll be back after these messages. Welcome back. We hope you enjoyed those messages. I'm James Jackson, your host.
I'm your co-host, Pastor Wayne Moore.
And we're joined on today by Sheriff Kerry Forstall. Welcome to the program.
Thank you. Thank you, Pastor Jackson. And again, we'll mention the prayers for your loss of your father.
Thank you. Really appreciate it. The last time we were all together, we were actually behind the desk out there at TV 40.
Yeah.
And now here we are on a Zoom broadcast.
I did bring that cup we had last time. So
yeah, it's a great, Sheriff, this is a great show. And a lot of people watch it, but they don't want us to know that they watch it.
That's true.
Yeah.
Well, we have you here, and we have COVID-19 going on, coronavirus 19. Certainly, we've heard a lot of what's been going on with folks who are residents in different jails across the country. How are things going at the Marion County Jail?
We are pretty good right now. I mean, it's still COVID-19, but it started back here on March 16th. It was the unknown, and we had to roll with the punches every day. I've got a really great deputy chief over the jail, Deputy Tanisha Creer, bright young woman that's been able to stay right on top of it and giving me day-to-day updates whenever I needed it. Because we had to take some really forward-looking steps. There was a device that would actually puts UV light into the cells and in the courtrooms. I hear some other people talking about buying them now. We bought that back there, I believe, was April 1st. That was not inexpensive. Those machines were $40,000 a piece. So that's a couple of deputies that I could have been hiring. But we saw that it was going to be important, and has been, I think, to be able to keep our numbers down. And on top of that, with the great assistance we've had from Dr. Virginia Kane from the Board of Health, I've listened to her from day one. And unlike some other people who have doctors that they can listen to and don't, I do listen to Dr. Virginia Kane.
That is an intelligent move in your leadership scheme. Is to listen to an infectious disease doctor instead of a pediatrician. And I think that's what we need to take in account. But that's great. And I'm along with Brother Jackson. as it relates to a lot of people are concerned. We hear a lot of things, and I don't know about you, Pastor Jackson, a lot of concerns about the jail system during COVID-19, and it sounds like you got it under control or have it in a place to where it's workable.
Well, we took some dramatic changes right off the beginning. We increased the frequency of the cleaning. Every cell block is cleaned every shift. We also hired a professional cleaning service to clean the high traffic in areas. And just as a side note, that was an MBE company that we hired. So some of the difficulties we've had initially was the closing the schools and some of the programs. But just as of last week, we were able to put those online on the television screens that are being pumped into the cell blocks, so that some of the things we couldn't do, like a full gymnasium, we can't intermix the cell blocks together. But we started taking smaller groups once Dr. Kane said we could take those small steps forward. But we have 3 channels now. One's for information, one's for all religious programs, and the other's for programs we have in the jail, like AA and some other type things like that.
Oh, that's good. That's phenomenal. And so you're still doing what you have to do to maintain the jail and to keep it active as much as you can before COVID-19.
Yes, because we did not let anyone come in there from the outside up until it's been maybe 2 weeks now that Dr. Kane said we could allow lawyers to come back in. And when they do, they're in a separate glass partition booth from their client so that it doesn't go either way. And they're limited to the amount of time so everyone has their fair share of time with their client. But that's the only people so far that we've allowed have personal contact. Prior to that, and still, they can do it remotely like we're doing today, but we don't let anyone else come into either one of the jails.
Okay.
Sheriff, as we understand it, you all take care of a lot of Marion County's mental health patients quite often. Has the stress from COVID-19 increased that pressure mentally, emotionally, and how is that impacting your deputies?
And not speaking as an expert, but because I do this job, it has, and I've seen that people, for one, even simple things like you want to tell somebody you've earned a vacation, go take a vacation, but where do you go? You can't go to Florida, you can't go to Michigan, the places you would have thought you could take a few days off. Those are going through the same kind of things we are. So I'm sure that puts some pressure on our people to deal with that. As for the inmate population, one of the positives, if you can find a positive out of COVID-19, was working with Prosecutor Mears, public defenders, and the judges. We've reduced the jail population by over 700. So that gave less number of people on top of each other. So that gave some breathing space for the medical reasons, but also the psychological reasons where people aren't, overcrowded amongst themselves.
Tell us some of the things that Prosecutor Rick Mears has done to reduce jail overcrowding.
Well, he's allowed police officers to write tickets for misdemeanor crimes that they had an option to do. And I tell you what, the law enforcement in Marion County has been really good at doing that. When you saw the numbers drop dramatically to where it was a ticket instead of the arrest that would have taken the time. And sometimes the person does need to go to court for it, but the time in jail isn't always its best time spent. Even booking him in, putting an appearance, booking him out. Now we've had 5 days before someone's even had a chance. Now, if we get this ticket, which we've done, it'll be busy when the courts open fully, but people haven't been waiting in jail during that period of time. So Prosecutor Mears gave that authority, and I think police were wise to take an advantage of it. Matter of fact, some fairly high-ranking people I know in partnership with IMPD said, maybe we should look at this when this is over. We ought to look at it. And I thought, hey, people have been trying to say that before.
Outstanding.
Yeah. Outstanding.
Well, we got to go to break, Sheriff, and when we come back, we want to talk about the new Public Safety Center, aka jail, that is being built, and how that's going to change things in Marion County. So we'd love to hear about that. Stay with us, everybody. We'll be back after this. Welcome back to this edition, this special COVID edition, if you will, of the Real People, Real Voices. And we're joined by our esteemed guest, Sheriff Kerry Forstall. Again, we're honored to have you with us on today. And we certainly want to thank our sponsors, Lee Costle and Crowley.
Urban Career Christian Academy, not only them, but Al's Modern Clothing and Shoes and the Marion County Public Health Department, along with the great work that they're doing. And as Sheriff Forstall mentioned, she's been a great help. Marion County Health Department has been a great help in helping him to maintain the Marion County Jail.
And speaking about the Marion County Jail, Sheriff, as we understand it, you all are hiring.
We are, and the starting salary is $36,000. It's $36,070, I believe, and it's an opportunity that people can come in here and they may want to do this forever. I mean, when I started, I didn't know I'd be sitting here 40 years later doing it, but it's also an opportunity to get your foot in the door and decide, is this the kind of job you want? And it gives people a chance to reflect the community that they serve. I've tried to keep that in mind when I do hirings and promotions and transfers, that I want the Marion County Sheriff's Office to reflect the community it serves. And I want that hiring also to do that. So I'm encouraging people. It would be at joinmco.indy.gov. That's joinmco.indy.gov, and it's on our website too. It makes it pretty simple to fill out the application, and we can do just about everything online to get you started in the process. What are the
jobs you're looking for? What kind of positions do you have?
Right now it's the detention deputies, because as you said, we're getting ready to open the new criminal justice center. And when we do, the private jail won't exist any longer. So we will need additional employees, not the number now, because we should be able to reduce the number that we have, because the way it's built, we should have less people to be able to monitor what goes on, because it's a better built system. I mean, this was built a long time ago where, we have in the old part of the jail, dark corners where I'm always concerned, and I may get off on this sometimes, but it's something I worry about every day, is the suicides in the jail. Mm-hmm. And, the newer side, we have cameras so people can know, but it just takes 5 minutes that somebody makes that choice. And I don't want to get that page that tells me that happened in the jail. So, in the newer jail, it's more cameras, more light, more visibility, all those kind of things that we hope would reduce the opportunity for someone to take their own life when they're in that darkest time in their life.
And someone wanting to apply, what's the age requirement?
Right now it's 21. So there's no maximum age, so you can apply. And if you can pass the physical side of it, then the age isn't important. And we've got some people basically chose their second career to do this. They've had something else in their life and said, okay, maybe I'll do this. And I get a lot of good feedback from people that actually enjoy, considering they work in a place with 2,000 people who don't want to be there, and 112 of them at any given time may be charged with homicide. But, if you can go into that with a positive experience and know what your job is, to be sure that they're treated fairly and they give their chance to appear in court, it's a positive place to work, knowing that part of it.
Do you have any positions for deputies?
We don't at the moment. We're getting close to it. What we want to do is give the detention deputies that are on there now the first opportunity for the next openings for deputies. So that's another thing people can do, because they say, well, there isn't today. They'll give me 2 years from now, and all of a sudden I've got 40 more openings because I've moved detention deputies into the deputies. So sometimes people will just have to get in line to have that opportunity. And there's not and the entry level pay is not that much different. So if you can get in there in the detention deputy, and we actually have the detention deputies now joining the union that is represented by the deputies. So I actually recommended that because I want them to have a voice And I've been for union. Matter of fact, our civilians, I've agreed with AFSCME to be part of the, represent our civilians. So I think the people need to recognize, people are stronger together.
Mhm.
Outstanding. Sheriff, of course, with the new center coming up, the Public Safety Center, the Criminal Justice Center, as I understand it, there'll be some 3,000 beds there. How are you all, or what are you going to do in conjunction with the rest of the public safety team to make sure that we're not overcrowded? That's been a big problem. And the new jail is supposed to remedy that. What are we going to do?
Well, and the thing is that before COVID, we would have around 24, almost 2,500. So there wasn't a big padding built into the new jail, saying only 500. But that's also before COVID-19. And again, what I mentioned earlier, I think people can start seeing, do we have an option to not have to have people go to jail at the beginning? Are there other options to not say that people need to spend, X number of days before they see the judge, as long as they're going to appear? So I think, again, another positive out of COVID might have given us the opportunity to let the community think like a lot of other people is. Filling the jail isn't the goal. Having it if you needed it, because it's going to be built for decades. But if we can reduce that population, or at least keep it down, that would be my goal.
And it seems like the ticking righted method has helped you tremendously. You said over 700. If the ticking writing had not been progressive, you'd have 700 more bodies in the jail.
And I'd say the ticket writing and the great collaboration with the judges. The judges have had online hearings and been able to make decisions that would have taken days to make them come to court, be in and out, and make movements because of COVID-19 to reduce the population. So I can't say enough about what the judges have done. They've all stepped up to make my job easier by being able to reduce that population.
That's great. That's great. There's a concern, and that is, will there be one operating jail or two? Let me let you answer that.
Yes, it'll be one operating jail, which was the plan from the beginning, was just the one out there at Twin Air. We will combine the populations of what is most people know as the county jail at 40 South Alabama, and then the private jail, 700 East Washington Street. We will combine those populations into one single jail. The private jail won't exist as far as the Marion County Sheriff's Office. And to assure that, the council actually passed an ordinance saying that there wouldn't be private jails for the inmate population of the sheriff when this opens.
Okay.
Well, Sheriff, we have about a minute and a half to go. A lot of people think that the new jail is being built to lock more people up, but what most people don't realize is that the current jail has failed passing a test in the past, and this has been something that the city of Indianapolis has been working on for a long time. Could you speak some positive things to that?
Sure. I've heard people who stand up and beat on their chest and say, if we put more people in jail, this is going to solve everything. The cop side of me says, hey, maybe they were right. But I think with COVID-19, we've shown that that's not necessarily true. We have other options. If we can, for one, the mental health side of it, I don't want to be the largest mental health facility in the state of Indiana. And one of the things out there will be the Assessment Intervention Center that should divert people for their mental health care before they get put into the jail. So those are the steps that maybe weren't planned, but COVID-19 has helped people see that those are the kind of things we can do and still maintain a reasonably full jail without having to go over capacity.
All right, Sheriff, you've been a great guest as always. Thank you for spending time with us and our audience on today.
Well, thank you both. I appreciate the opportunity this afternoon.
You're welcome. We'll be back after this with the rundown. Welcome back to Real People, Real Voices. I'm your host, James Jackson.
And I am your co-host, Pastor Wayne Moore.
And I'm Curtis Baker of TV40. How you guys doing today?
Doing
Doing
pretty
great.
good, Curtis. Doing pretty good.
Hey, first of all, Pastor Jackson, I want to send our from TV40, we'd like to send our deepest condolences to you and your family on the passing of your father. So I wanted to get that
Thank you. Thank
out
you.
front. And we're praying for you here at TV40.
Thank you.
All right.
Oh, we had a great guest there, and Sheriff Forstall, always good to have him on. Of course, last time we had him on, he was running to get the position, and now he is the sheriff. A lot going on with the new building coming up. So we're hoping that, they say if you build it bigger, you'll fill it up. Hopefully that won't hold true with the new jail.
Yeah, to me, it remains to be seen. I like the move the prosecutor and the judges made as it relates to reducing inmates at the Marion County Jail. I think it was an ingenious idea based on the collaboration of Ryan Mears, Prosecutor Ryan Mears, and the judges here in our judicial system. Great decision. And then we just read the other day, IMPD is not going to enforce the governor's mandate as it relates to masking. And so that's another aspect of that will reduce increase of inmates at the Marion County Jail, because you do know it's a Class B misdemeanor, which carries 6 months in jail and $1,000 fine. And so that's going to help based on the fact of the decisions that were made by MPD. But the jail is going to be something to watch, Pastor Jackson. I'm going to be watching it very closely.
Well, it does sound like from the COVID-19 situation that they're kind of handling that pretty well. Don't you agree? With the spacing out and.
They're doing the best they can. I mean, it's a tough situation. So,
well,
they're doing the best they can with that. And hopefully we can get a vaccine, and the therapeutic treatments seem to be working. Time will tell.
Yeah.
Well,
Speaking of time, we're out of it right now.
Yeah.
okay. I was going to say, stay out of jail. You don't have to worry about it, right?
Best thing.
Just don't go.
Thank you, Curtis, Dr. Moore. As always, pleasure to host with you. We'll see y'all next time.
God
All
bless
right.
you.